Lo, there do I see my father. Lo, there do I see my mother.
And my sisters and my brothers. Lo, there do I see the line of my people, back to the beginning.
Lo, they do call to me. They bid me take my place among them.
In the halls of Valhalla, where the brave may live forever.
These are the voyages of the starship Ragnar. Her mission to explore the Shackleton Expanse for new friends and allies, and to fearlessly peer into that final frontier.
All right, and welcome everyone to the much anticipated, not that long overdue, because we've been playing pretty consistently, which has been super nice, super happy about that. And but this is Star Trek Valhalla, Season 3, Episode 5, which I'm super excited about. Thank you so much for the resub, Drew. I do appreciate you, man. It's very kind. But I'm super excited about it because we're halfway through what, again, strong foreshadow, is likely our final season of Star Trek Valhalla. But don't worry, we'll replace it with something else. But it's been a solid 24 episodes. I'm sure at least 23 and a half episodes. I'd say solid. That's a joke, but no, it's been good. Very excited about tonight's episode because we might get into some fights here today. I don't do a whole lot of, hey Vesper, what's up? I don't do a whole lot of starship combat because honestly, the system's not great when it comes to starship combat. However, we might get into some of that tonight. But knowing this crew, they'll find a way to diplomatize their way out of it, and I'll just throw all of my plans for destroying them out the window. But with that being said, we're going to go around the table, have everyone introduce themselves, tell us who they are playing, and then we actually have a session intro today from none other than Captain Treso. So we're going to go Brian, Symbol, Sidereal Day, Drew Baca, Charles Warren. Take it away, my friends.
Hello, I am Brian. I'm known as Mind Over Brian on both Twitter and on Twitch, although on Twitch I spell it with a 0. And I am playing Captain Asba Treso, the captain of the Ragnar, and a Betazoid who has forsworn his telepathic gifts.
Hello, I am Symbol24. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter under the same names, although on Twitter I have an underscore between 2 and 4. I play Lieutenant Alden Paris, the science officer aboard the Ragnar, and this is Nefertiti. She is my queen.
Good evening. I'm Sidereal Day, and I play Ajay Shahira, the commander who is both first officer and chief medical officer from Bajor.
Wait, how does that work?
I don't
Wow,
make any sense.
this
Can't be
joke.
both.
I feel like this is a dead horse joke at this point.
I
wait,
mean,
wrong
Why don't you
group.
just give him a horse, Sidereal Day? Just give him a horse. Why don't you just give him a horse?
Whoops, wrong group.
Wrong group. Oh, poor Justin. He's never gonna live that down.
Ever.
Ah, beautiful.
All right, Drew Baca.
Oh, I guess it's my turn. Hi, I'm Drew. I am playing Lieutenant Commander Krev Glosh, the Tellarite chief engineer and real, heart of the ship. Like I'm the emotional center of these people.
Okay.
I mean, did you see last episode like that? That was an emotional
Lies.
Yes.
Never happened. Charles Warren.
I'm Charles Warren. I play Ensign Zed, our Ferengi Chief of Security and Operations Officer.
Very good.
An unofficial morale officer.
That is true. And of course,
And the actual heart and soul of our ship.
absolutely true. And of course, I am Dare Wolf, the Game Master. Super excited to be here as always. And we're going to get started with the opening log from the captain.
Captain's Log, Stardate 43894.6. Our relations with the Klingons have soured faster than even the most war-hawkish members of the Federation Council expected, and the Federation finds itself on the brink of all-out war. Resigned disappointment seems to be the reigning feeling aboard the Ragnar, but I have to admit that after our encounter with the future Boudica, I suspected this turn of events might be inevitable. That foreknowledge let me percolate on some ideas for months before we needed them, and so it was fortunate that Captain Exana and I were able to convince the Admiral of the value of the detection grid. The self-replicating buoys, a trick I picked up from the tactical reports at DS9, will create a tachyon grid that will allow us to see whether any cloaked vessels enter Federation space without authorization. It won't be enough to let us penetrate the cloaking fields, but it will hopefully prevent the Klingons from being able to drop forces behind ours by surprise. Captain Exana has been a challenging person to work with. She's a scrappier, more aggressive command presence than I'm accustomed to working with, and conversely, she finds my trust in my subordinates untenable. We've butted heads more than once on how much of the project to retain for ourselves and how much to parse out to various department heads. She's a great leader, but just with her own style of command which runs counter to mine, and despite those occasional frictions, we've made quick work of development and subsequent deployment of the detection grid. In a bit of happier news, perhaps, Mr. Paris and Nurse Hagen are moving to finalize their wedding plans. I had a stern word with Alden about improper use of ship's facilities regarding his antics around the proposal, but I doubt it'll stick. The man's walking on sunshine these days, and nothing seems to put a damper on his enthusiasm. Hopefully his confidence will drop a peg or two back down to reality before something knocks it down. Finally, on a personal note, it's been nice to be back in the chair and not in constant meetings. Admiral Anton's constant scrutiny and the side-eyed glances of his assistant, Commander Varezia, were an unwelcome distraction in what were already tense meetings. I'm not sure what it is about me that has turned that man so thoroughly hostile, but it's clear that he has nothing good to say about me. I did, however, receive a message from Brahmanir with some encouraging news about the modifications to the Ragnar's transporters that I proposed to our mutual friend. Computer, erase last 5 seconds and resume. I'm considering making some adjustments to increase the range of our transporters and add some unconventional use cases. I suspect Krev might have some objections, but we more than match the power requirements, what with the Doctor's adjustments to the warp core, so I can't imagine his argument will hold much water. And luck.
Absolutely fantastic, Captain. Thank you so much for that opening log. You may have 3 momentum for that opening log. Well done, well done. You get an extra momentum for mentioning the Boudica. Missed that series. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun. Absolutely, absolutely fantastic. So we're actually going to open our first scene. So imagine, if you will, we see an exterior shot of the Ragnar. It's at warp. We see the stars, streaking by. You can see the kind of the warp bubble around it. You can see it traveling at pretty high speed warp towards a direction. We know that it's heading towards Starbase, or at least the area around Starbase 117. Now, as we zoom in to the rear, we see the nacelles. They're glowing brightly. They've got that purple kind of tint to them after the modifications Lieutenant Commander Krev had made. And then we zoom in towards the back, the sort of lower section of the ship, not the upper saucer, but the lower section, where we go in and we actually zoom into astrometrics. And as we zoom into astrometrics, we see that it looks like, based on what we're seeing here, it looks like that astrometrics has been completely and utterly modified. It is now effectively a separate bridge. It's a redundant bridge located in the lower section of the vessel. So not in the upper saucer section, but the lower section. However, at this current point, it's being used as a sort of makeshift office for one Lieutenant Paris, and he is currently in the process of performing some crew evaluations. It's long overdue. It's almost 24 sessions, so 24 episodes overdue. We haven't done any crew reviews in a long time. So he is currently in the review, and we are mid-review for one Ensign Minerva, Minnie Crusher. Everyone calls her Minnie. Ensign Crusher. And she doesn't look too nervous. She looks very relaxed. You're both sitting in chairs. You have the little bridge section to your right-hand side, her left-hand side. You've been asking her a series of questions, and I'd like you to pick up Lieutenant Paris sort of mid-conversation. What have you been talking with Minnie about? Is it something good? Is it something bad? Where are you guys at in this review right now?
So, what do you think about Zed's party proposal?
Oh, well, sir, may I speak freely, sir?
Always.
Does this mean that I'm invited?
Everyone's going to be invited. Don't worry. It's...
Great. It's been a while since, well, that is to say, I think his proposals are... I'm worried that he might be misinterpreting some of the customs from Earth. I heard him discussing the idea of a pub crawl.
Okay,
It
don't
actually...
tell me more. Don't tell me more. Let's keep it a secret.
But sir, you must... But sir,
You wanted it to be a surprise.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be something, sir.
Oh yeah,
absolutely something. That is true. Yes.
Like, let's talk about the real reason you're here.
Yes, sir. Of course.
Your certifications are up to date. You've applied for 3 more quantum mechanic ones. I think you can go for a 4th. Like, I've seen your work, and add 1 or 2 command there, and yeah, that promotion that we've been talking about could be very much closer than you think.
Serious, sir?
Again,
look, I love
I'm not-
everything.
I'm-
Yes, of course. Sorry. Yes,
I'm just the one that's going to recommend.
Okay.
Final decision's always the captain's.
of course. But has
And
he said anything?
it's the captain. Of course, he hasn't said anything.
Makes sense. Yes, he's very holds everything very close to the cuff. That is true, sir. That is true. Sir, I'd like to ask you something. And look, when I joined Starfleet, sir, I joined it because, well, I didn't want to just sit around on a starbase or sit around honestly in my backyard at Earth. Of course, basic subsistence would have been fine, and I could have lived a good life, married, probably had some kids, but I wanted to know what was out there. That's the point of Starfleet, right, sir? It's to boldly go where we've not gone before, or whatever Picard said. There's a quote somewhere. I'm probably misquoting it. I'm sorry. But I didn't sign up for. And she motions to the bridge, the tactical systems, the energy readouts, the everything around. Obviously designed for more of a wartime scenario.
Do you want to know why I took this spot as the meeting?
I was curious, was it simply because there were no other spots available?
Oh no, I could have taken any of the conference rooms, or even even my personal quarters. The idea is to remind all of our science people is that although we are explorers at heart, there comes a time when this is necessary.
Nods her head a little bit.
I didn't sign up to be a warrior. I didn't sign up to be a fighter. I signed up because I need to get away. If you remember, do you remember the first thing I ever said to you when we met?
She looks a little embarrassed, as though she's trying to remember it, but also the game master doesn't remember, so she doesn't remember then. Go ahead.
We were on Starbase 123 at the bar, looking at the ship. You approached me because you recognized me, tried to chat me up, and you asked me what the ship meant to me. I said freedom. But freedom of what? Freedom is a child's hope, right? This ship brought me more family and more friends and more knowledge than I could have ever imagined. I am happy to take on sometimes the burdens of this if I can continue to experience the family, the friends, and the knowledge.
Well, if I understand what you're saying, sir, it's we fight now to protect what we love and cherish.
Always.
Because if we don't, that family you speak of, that sense of belonging could be taken away from us.
At any moment.
I think I get it, sir. Thank you.
And meaning it took me a while to understand that.
I think I'll get there, sir.
There's no dedicated time to get there. It's on your own time and when you're ready. And hey, if you want to take a back seat, do to help with the mental side of things, just ask. If you want to take some leave, you have plenty of accumulated, then I don't think the captain would object to it.
She shakes her head no to that statement. I won't abandon the crew right now during this trying time. And no, sir, I know it's not abandoning, but that's how it would feel for me, sir. I'm all in. Ragnar is my home. I'm not going to leave it.
Good. Good to hear it. Now, what are we going to do with that one little black spot?
Oh, man, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up. And then we're going to pivot away from this scene because I think that's hilarious, of course. That's a great moment to pivot, right? That's a great moment to pivot. All right, so we're going to pivot over. We're going to pivot over to none other than a certain sick bay. Where we don't have the additional doctor, but we have one Nurse Hagen. One Nurse Hagen, who is in for his annual, or I guess quarterly? We're going to do quarterly reviews. This is a quarterly review. Not the big one, but a decent one. And Doctor Commander, there it is, Dr. Commander. Is it Dr. Commander or is it Commander Doctor? How do you go by? I don't know. Anyway, so Doctor.
I feel like just one or the other.
Dr. Commander. Commander Dr. Ajay Doctor.
One or the other at a time.
Commander Ajay Doctor. Dr. Ajay Commander. There it is. All right, we're going with that. So we come together now, and we see Nurse Hagen is sitting, in the chair. He's a little slouched. Not offensively, but he's fidgeting right now and sort of tapping the armrest. There's been a moment of silence. You've been looking at some things, making some notes, and very similar to how we did for Paris, I'd like to pick up mid-conversation. You're maybe on the tail end of this review. What are you discussing with Nurse Hagen? Where do we find ourselves in this moment?
You said he's fidgeting right now during the pause?
He's fidgeting a little bit. He almost seems agitated, or at least maybe nervous, or maybe just he's fidgeting. He's a little fidgety. Been very fidgety lately.
Somewhere to be, Mr. Hagen?
What? Oh, no, Doctor. I am sorry. The wedding plans. I'm just a little excitable these days. It's not every day that a man gets married to the love of his life. I'm just sorry. Where were we, sir? Did you have a question?
Yes, I've noticed.
Miles away.
I noticed. Speaking of a million miles away, even before Mr. Paris's proposal, you've seemed ill at ease the past couple weeks.
His right eyebrow raises up. He sits up a little bit straighter and seems to almost take on a different, not persona, but there's very different sort of flow to himself. He seems to sort of get a little bit more rigid. He sits up a little straighter. He seems a little bit more professional in this moment. And it almost looks, to you, Commander Ajay, almost looks a little bit practiced. Well, ma'am, it's just, with all this talk of war and the Klingons, I have to be honest, I've been a little bit nervous. I finally find somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with, and we're now heading off towards potential destruction. It makes anyone a little bit nervous, wouldn't you say, Dr. Commander? Commander Doctor?
Yes. Yes, I suppose it would.
Are you not nervous, sir?
Nervous. Nervous is the wrong word, Mr. Hagen. But yes, that would be enough. There's a lot coming.
Yes. Yes, there is. And he smiles for a moment. He almost seems... There's almost a hungry look on his face at mention of there's a lot coming, and then he quickly washes it away, almost as though he took a cloth and washed it away, and goes back to looking slightly uncomfortable at the moment. I don't want to lose what I've just gained. Does that make sense?
Yes. You have something. You want to hold on to it.
Every fabric of my being.
Keep that in mind, and it will serve you well in the coming war. If you have something to fight for, you'll do a lot better. There's no guarantees, but it'll make you sharper.
Grin starts to appear on his face. I've always thought that if I had something to fight for, I would do anything. Leans in slightly. Anything. Hold on to it and protect it. Wouldn't you agree?
No. There are some lines that still shouldn't be crossed.
Of course. Forgive me, it's just a bit of my Orion background falling through the cracks. Sometimes can still hear my father in the back of my mind telling me that life is expendable. It achieves a goal. I think that's why I became a nurse, aboard the ship. The opportunity to save life.
Is that so?
Genuine smile on his face. Yes.
Well, I certainly won't judge you about that anything. I understand where that sort of feeling can come from. I'm sorry, I'm letting us get away from what we should be doing. It looks like you haven't finished your most recent certification class. The one on infectious diseases?
There is a look of like extreme confusion that crosses his face for a second or two, and he goes, "You're right. I'm sorry, Doctor. It completely skipped my mind. Do I still have time to complete it, or is it too late?"
Nope, you still have time. It's still open. I
Perfect.
just wanted to make sure that you didn't forget what with all the wedding preparations and the war. I realize triage might be more important right now, but if an epidemic breaks out in the middle of this on top of everything, it would only add to everything.
I will be sure to get it done this evening, ma'am.
Then, Mr. Hagen, I believe that's all.
Thank you, Doctor. And
Thank you.
have a great rest of your day.
You as well, Mr. Hagen.
He turns, exits room. A little bit of a skip. A little bit of a skip in his step. And I'm curious, what is the expression on the good doctor's face as Nurse Hagen exits the room?
After he's gone, she permits herself to frown.
Dun dun dun. There it is. I love that. I love that journey for you.
I passed some of my checks last episode.
Oh yeah,
I did.
No, you absolutely do. You absolutely did. You're sus. It's sus right now. Something weird's going on. You know it. You're not sure what's going on, but there is definitely something sus. So we're gonna pivot up through the heart, like kind of we've been like at the back of the ship, at like the lower section. We're pivoting up through to medical. Now we're gonna go up a little bit. We're actually gonna head over to engineering, and I would like to imagine that Karev, you don't really have an office, okay? Your office is engineering. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so you are going to be in engineering, and you're with Bronson, of course, because we love Bronson.
There is an office, but it's full of crap.
Full of crap, absolutely full to the brim with crap. So you are with Bronson, and you're right by the warp core. You can hear the hum of the engine. That little bit of a different sort of tone that's going on because it's obviously been modified. But let's see here. Let's do this. And Bronson, again, same sort of setup, mid-conversation. All right. What is Karev talking to her about in this moment? What is he bringing up? I imagine it's a little bit more informal than some of the other ones, but take it away, Drew. Fill me in.
Oh yeah, he looks over at her, looks up from some notes that he's typing. I see before you left last night, you managed to boot the multiphasic neutrino interface grid.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't want to point it out, sir. I was...
Bronson.
I gotta be honest with you, sir, if I may.
Chief?
Your work inspires me, sir. There's a dedication. There's a... No, sir, sir.
Don't blow
I need to
neutrinos
get...
up my ass.
Sir, I need to get this out. You have given up countless promotions because you love engineering. You love everything about what makes this ship tick. That's inspirational, sir. If I can be half as dedicated as you are, if I ever get to be a chief of any sort of vessel, I'll be pleased as punch.
Well, damn. I hate it when you do that shit to me.
Well, sir, I understand you hate it when I do that stuff. But also this comes into... I was curious if you had any updates on that potential promotion to ensign.
You know, there might be things in the works. I'm not gonna lie, Chief. Neither myself nor the captain have many strings to pull with the fleet right now. Honestly, I burned a lot of bridges. Honestly, through my entire career, nobody owes me anything. I call in favors to favors that I've never even done. I just make shit up, and the captain has, well, you know what's happened with the captain. But everything in my power, at least, I have been working on it. And the captain knows how I feel and agrees. So what can be done is being done, and we have some ideas. But be aware that regardless of the insignia on your uniform, the quality and caliber of your work far outstripes the pips on your neck.
There was as you were saying this, as you were speaking to her, these last couple of sentences, these words you've spoken to her, you can see her face got a little sad, then started to brighten up. And she's not ecstatic. She's not bubbling over with joy. She's obviously slightly disappointed, but there is this understanding that exists on her expression and there's also a bit of gratitude that you see, and she actually says, "Thank you, sir. I meant what I said about being inspired by your dedication. Even if I keep these stripes, I know that working under you, working on this ship, has given me more experience than than most engineers get through officer training. If I ever do get the chance to go in, I will make you proud, sir.
It's too late. You already have. Listen, if there's anything my example can bring to you, it's that the caliber of your work has nothing to do with the rank that you hold. You do the work that you are capable of doing, and the people that matter will be impressed by it. And honestly, that's the least of it. The work itself will continue to hold you. You will always have a place in my engine room to work at your highest capability.
Thank you, sir.
Regardless of rank.
Truly. There's a couple more modifications I need to make to the phaser banks. Is there anything else you need, sir?
No, just make your reports as always, and I trust the work you do.
As she goes to turn and leave, she stops and looks back. Sir, are you scared about what's to come in the near future?
This thing with the Klingons?
Yes, sir.
Sure. There's a lot of uncertainty that we have to deal with right now in the Federation. The Klingons are a powerful foe. And hopefully, I mean, in the past, they've certainly been a powerful ally. And if there's one thing that the Federation is good at doing, it's turning foes into allies. It doesn't always happen immediately, but it's what we do. So if we can be a part of that, then that's something to look forward to. It doesn't mean that there isn't danger, but we're literally standing next to a matter-antimatter reactor. There's danger in everything that we do every day.
Comes with the job regardless of rank, right, sir?
You got it.
Thank you, sir. I'll get those updates done right away. Turns. There's a little bit of a jump in her step. Seems like your words have touched her in a good way. We're now going to pivot over to the captain's ready room, where the captain is having a quick little meeting, not with Lieutenant Paris. He's having a quick little meeting here with, you guessed it, Ensign Vanek. Ensign Vanek. She is back in action, almost a throwback to our first episode where she was questioning him, and she is asking about some... Well, actually, no. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing. Excuse me. Don't break it if it ain't broken, right? Don't fix it if it ain't broken. There it is. Don't break it if it ain't broken. I mean, obviously. Don't fix it if it ain't broken. We're going to not reinvent the wheel here. So, you're mid-conversation. Again, tail end of your meeting with her. What are you discussing with the young ensign here? How's she been doing? What's going on?
Well, Henson, I've reviewed your request. Honestly, I'd hate to see it go, but if you would like to serve on a larger vessel during wartime, I can't see any reason not to recommend you. I'm happy to put my signature on this if you're sure.
Captain, I appreciate the recommendation and the willingness to allow me to move to a different vessel. It is not that I wish to be directly involved in any engagements in this Federation Klingon war, but I feel that I may get some different experiences, I believe would be the phrase, aboard a larger vessel that is going to be more than likely closer to the front line. However, I must ask your opinion, Captain.
Sure.
Do you think there is value in this? Or am I being too emotional? As she says with a straight face, just no emotion showing, just that's what she asks.
If anything, I think your reticence to simply make the decision is your emotional side showing. To be honest with you, I expected this application mere days after the announcement that relations with the Klingons were getting tense. I'm surprised you waited this long. Logic dictates that if you're going to be the best captain you can be, you would want to experience as much of the adjutant life as you can before you are promoted into some sort of position of command as a department head. So I don't know why you would hesitate unless you are feeling some sort of affection or loyalty to the Ragnar.
I can assure you, Captain, there is no such affection nor loyalty felt to the Ragnar above and beyond the fact that I am a member of its crew. With that being said, Captain, I have noticed that the Ragnar has a way of finding itself in strange situations that most vessels I have read and researched have not found themselves in. I hesitate to call it fear, but I question if I will, what is the human phrase, miss out on something interesting should I transfer to a different vessel.
You know, we captains tend to sit around and talk about our craziest experiences whenever we're off. We whenever we run into each other on star bases or on vacation. It seldom happens. It never occurred to me that the Ragnar's experience might be unusual. I don't know. I would have posited that nothing greater than any other experience on during my career has happened on the Ragnar. There were several incidents on the previous ships I've served on that matched or exceeded the type of experiences you've had here. I would posit that you're finding some confirmation bias when researching the history of other ships. You may be better served to speak to the command crew of those ships rather than just looking at their records.
Nods her head. That is a very logical suggestion, Captain. I will make that a priority. Thank you, sir. In the meantime, would you hold my request for transfer?
Certainly.
Thank you, Captain. Is there anything else that I can improve upon in my current station?
I have been considering putting you in charge of some command training. Due to your specialization in command and your experience before Starfleet, I think you might be uniquely qualified for a special project I have in mind. Lieutenant Paris has been, I hesitate to say bugging me, but he has been pressing me to prepare him better for command. On paper, his skills are well suited to a command position, but he has a tendency to buck the rules, which I suspect I would find more grating than endearing. However, as a Vulcan, you possess a patience for which I can only aspire. Perhaps we might be able to give him the training he's looking for while avoiding a scenario where I punch the man in the teeth.
Captain, if I understand your request, you are suggesting that I teach him temperance.
Yeah, maybe just some caution. I thought perhaps you might enjoy, well, enjoy might be too strong a term, but I thought you might find it rewarding to and challenging to set a course of holodeck simulations that would provide Mr. Paris with some valuable experience while simultaneously setting his expectations to the correct level.
She thinks for just a second. It's funny you should mention this, Captain. I have been working on several holodeck programs that would likely fit the needs. That is to say, I think I have what you need, Captain. I will have them on your desk within the hour for your review.
Excellent. I appreciate that, Ensign. And I knew I could count on you.
Of course, Captain. If I may ask one more question, sir, before I leave.
Certainly.
Do you believe we will see combat in the coming weeks?
The Ragnar is not intended for such encounters. However, if there's one thing my research and experience have taught me, it's that you should never count on the intentions of a ship. Sometimes, strictly because you are not intended for a certain purpose, that'll be why you find yourself in that situation. The Klingons are very well known for taking advantage of any weaknesses or holes in the defense that are available to them. I am concerned that the Ragnar is tasked with quite so much frontline scouting when we have very little by way of ability to defend ourselves from the larger Klingon ships. I would hope that command would attempt to ensure that we are not placed in such a position. And if we are, I expect every member of this crew would conduct themselves in a way that would ensure we have the best chance of making it back home. But can I rest assured that we won't see combat? Not in the least. In fact, I think we are better served if we operate similarly to how Ensign Zed has behaved. We should expect to see combat and simply be delighted if it doesn't happen.
That would have been my recommendation, Captain. But it seems you are, as is tradition, one step ahead of me. Is there anything else, sir?
Well, only to assure you that it won't be much longer. You're proceeding nicely. I'm not sure there's much more I'm going to be able to teach you after a while.
It is the hope of a teacher that their student surpasses them. You should be very proud of yourself, Captain.
Well, whether I'm proud of myself is one thing, but I am very proud of you, for what it's worth.
Thank you, sir. He stands, turns, very formal, walks out, leaving you to yourself. There's a little chirp at your console, and it's an incoming message. One of the bridge crew says, Captain, we have Captain Exana on the line, or on long-range communication on the line. What is this? Hey, we got a telephone call for you. Switchboard. There it is. Switchboard operator. There it is. Classic.
Patch it through to my console.
Brilliant. So we see the captain. She is looking formal as always. Dare I say? You had mentioned she's been a little bit difficult to work with. Correct me if I'm wrong, Captain. Just a little bit difficult to work with. So pops up. Good day, Captain. I hope that your trip is going well. My crew has already begun. Sorry, formalities. How are you, sir? That is to say, Captain.
Well, Captain, I'm quite well. No need to conduct yourself with formalities here. You're welcome.
Excellent. I wasn't
straight into your.
I was hoping we could dive right into it. My crew has already begun the dissemination of these tracking buoys, as it were. We've been picking up some strange scans along the Klingon border, and I'm beginning to think that we might not be alone out here. I have my crew on constant yellow alert, and I simply wanted to speak with you on how much longer before you arrive.
Well, since we're starting at the opposite end of the detection grid, we're en route, but we weren't expected to be there for another 6 to 8 hours.
I think we should be fine until then. I'm going to
What
send
kind
you...
of strange readings are you seeing, Captain?
That's the thing, Captain. We have the grid in place, so we should be picking up any cloaked vessels. Occasionally, we pick up small intermittent bursts of polaronic particle inhibitor sort of data. It's strange. It almost seems that there's a non-linear type of... my crew is looking into it. I'm not exactly sure. But as soon as I have more data...
I'm going to patch my tactical officer and see if he can offer any sort of insights. Just to confirm, I presume that you're still waiting on your chief tactical officer?
Yes, he is not currently with us. He's currently at Starbase 117. Just be careful, Captain, is all I'm saying.
Give me a moment. I'm just going to patch him through before we end communication.
Mm-hmm.
Traso to Zed.
Go ahead, Captain.
I'm going to patch you through into. I'm going to send you some sensor data that Exana's ship is picking up. I want you to take a look and tell me if you see anything that looks like it's a tactical concern.
Of course, Captain.
And then Traso flips over the...
Brilliant. So as Traso goes to flip over, you can see the captain. She's sitting in her captain's chair. See the yellow alert. And you hear one of her crewmates say, "Sir, a ship on short range. Oh God, they're firing. Do, 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 do." And the call cuts. Just static.
Belay that, Zed. Tracer to bridge. Helm, set course for the last known position of the... What is Exana's ship called?
Hilarious. USS Hawking.
To the set course for the last known position of the USS Hawking. Maximum warp.
Aye, aye, sir. Engaged. And you can kind of almost feel the ship as the inertial dampener sort of struggle with it. But as that takes off, I'd like to pivot on... actually across the way. We're going to pivot across to the conference room because I think Zed is... I imagine you kind of take these things a little bit formally, not in a bad way. But, you like to have like a nice formal setting, Zed. And if I'm wrong, I can go somewhere else. But would you take it in the conference room, or where would you like to meet with your crew, or your staff, as it were?
Oh, yeah, the conference room is perfect. Yes,
I like that.
Especially
like
if it's
that.
more than... Is it all of the staff?
No, just one. You're meeting with
just one. Yes.
You're meeting with Ensign Lena Jenkins. He's going to be here for you. We're going to be having some fun. It's going to be good. So we're going to pick up just like we have with the rest of the command staff, the bridge crew, as it were. He's sitting there. He's looking like serious. He doesn't look uncomfortable. He doesn't look relaxed. He just looks like he is taking it very seriously. With you, Ensign Zed. You're actually the same rank, obviously, but you have a little bit more. At some point, somebody's got to promote Ensign Zed. I'm telling you guys. You got to promote him at some point. He's been an Ensign for 3 seasons here, all right? I think he's done enough work. Well, but let's pick up. What are you talking to him about? What's the situation?
Zed is looking at him straight in the eye, and he says, 2 words, Mr. Jenkins. Pub crawl.
Yeah, so, Ensign Zed,
I have done extensive research on Earth marital customs, and all of my sources indicate that a pub crawl is a traditional bachelor party activity. And so what I've devised is a holodeck simulation of various pubs from across the Earth, but located in a simulated city. But beneath it are crawl tunnels that would allow us to crawl hand over hand and pop up into each one and then go on again. Because from everything that I've read, it seems like these bachelor parties are a strenuous physical activity for the participants.
Ensign said, permission to speak freely, sir?
Oh, by all means.
Sir, I'm going to say this with the utmost respect, sir, but you have completely misinterpreted the idea of a pub crawl. Are you familiar with the Earth saying, you know what? Never mind. I'm going to let you figure this out on your own, because what I've learned by working for you, sir, is that eventually you figure it out. So I'm very excited for this pub crawl, assuming that I'm getting an invite, and I think it's going to be great. You're doing a great job. And
Mr. Jenkins, you do not have to try to make me feel better. May I speak freely to you, not as your superior officer, but as an equal?
He looks confused but goes, permission granted?
I am failing, my friend, Lieutenant Paris. As part of the stipulations of our contract of friendship, it is my responsibility to organize Lieutenant Paris's bachelor party. But I'm finding it difficult focusing on it. With the upcoming tensions with the Klingons, the security training, the preparations for wartime procedures, it's hard to think about bachelor parties under those circumstances.
Ensign Zed, I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, you have not been honest in the past?
It's again, Cloak. I'm just going to speak freely with you, sir.
Oh, yes, of course.
The Ragnar, when I joined this crew, it wasn't my first posting. It was actually my third. I've been on a couple different ships. I've had some troubles in the past with some of my officers. I don't necessarily like authority, and occasionally I butt heads with those that kind of crack down and micromanage. And one of the things I love about you, Ensign Zed, sorry, sir, is that you let us figure it out. And I think that's one of the best things about you as a friend, not only for your friend Lieutenant Paris, but also for everybody that's underneath you. You're a good person, Zed. I don't know if you've heard this, but people call you the heart of the ship. All right? You always have something good to say to anybody. You care about everybody, and you're a good friend to Lieutenant Paris. Everybody sees it. All right? And I think you're too hard on yourself. But I think the reason that you're so good is because you are hard on yourself. So I'm kind of rambling here, sir, but just... And he reaches forward and he like gingerly grabs your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever fucking change, okay? Excuse my language, sir.
Language excused. I do think I understand what you're saying, and I certainly do hope that I figure it out. When I look around the ship, I see all the different crew members, all the different species. I'm reminded that as chief of security, their lives and the safety of the ship are in my hands. And during wartime, even more so. I can't bear the thought of losing even one of them should tensions rise to the point where there is outright war. It's all I can think about, trying to keep them alive.
Ensign Jenkins sort of like sits back in his chair. Sir, I've been on a ship during a battle with the Romulans. And I watched a lot of my friends, good friends, die during that encounter. Here's what I'll tell you. And you can take this advice or you can throw it out an airlock for all I care. Not that I don't care. It's a saying. It's said.
Yes.
In war, people are gonna die. Friends are gonna be lost. Bad things are gonna happen. No matter what you do, no matter how much you prepare, it's never gonna be enough. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Do the best you can. Save as many of your friends, save as many of those underneath you as you can. And things will work out as best as they can. I don't know if that makes sense, sir, but if you overthink it, you're going to make a mistake. You're a good security officer. You're a good bridge officer, sir. Just, like I said, keep being you.
Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Thank you. Well, perhaps we should circle back to the bachelor party then.
Right. So, what kind of alcohol are you gonna have there? Because I got a couple of really, really good Traxian wines that I could bring, and let me tell you, delicious. Okay. Also, are we doing is it gonna be like that kind of party, or like what are we? Are we? No. Okay. Never mind. Totally gonna throw that out the window. No big deal. I will let my guy know that not to bring those. So yes. But anyway, so I was thinking about this whole crawl thing. How tight are these tunnels going to be? And he actually leans into it a little bit with you. I like that. Perfect. So we are going to pivot over. It's been a couple of hours since the events of these meetings, and we're going to find the entirety of the bridge crew. I'd like to actually pull everyone up to the bridge. And you are just about to drop out of warp. At the last known location of the Nova-class starship, the USS Hawking, being captained by Captain Exana. And as we open our scene on the bridge here, we're actually going to start with a view of the bridge itself. And as we drop out of warp, you drop into a debris field. And the ship has to make a couple of very quick maneuvers. You see the ensign. Ensign Shear. You see him. What's that?
Lieutenant
Shear, excuse me. He is Lieutenant Shear. I don't know why I didn't have Lieutenant on it. So you can see Lieutenant Shear. Taking evasive maneuvers, the ship kind of goes left, the right, and as you cross by, you see on the view screen, it's 100% the remains of the USS Hawking. You can see that large Nova-class dome. You can see that it's floating. It's been severed in half. You can see the aft part of the ship. There's debris everywhere. The nacelles are both broken off the main body of the ship itself. And my question to you is, what do you guys do?
Scanning for survivors, sir.
Oh shit. I'm gonna start. Krev's gonna start running extra power to the shields and the tractor beams and the transporters, just in case.
Yeah. Ajay's gonna calm down to sickbay to tell them to be ready for survivors.
All right. As Paris scans for the survivors, Zed would like to be scanning for any sign of any hostile vessels or cloaked vessels.
Perfect. Around. Okay. So a couple things that we're going to start with. We're going to start with the scan from Lieutenant Paris. Lieutenant Paris, I'm going to have you make a control science, a difficulty of 2 to begin with.
Roll science. How many momentum do we have?
4.
Oh yeah, I'm using. Well, I'll use 1. I think that's
Okay.
And
however many you need, bud.
Can the ship assist, please?
Yeah, what am I assisting with?
Sensors and something, I guess.
That would be sensor science.
Sensor science.
Yeah, you also only rolled 1 die, Lieutenant
Why
Perry.
did I only roll 1 die?
I don't know.
But I do have technical expertise, so
okay.
It's gonna re-roll.
The ship got you 1.
Call. Science. 3 dice. No. There we go. So yeah.
Love it. Love
3 success, so 1 momentum back.
1 momentum back. So, Lieutenant Paris, you begin to scan the vessel. And the first thing you notice is that in that large, again, the Nova class has this large kind of like spherical dome on the front of it. In that forward section of the dome, you are actually picking up about a dozen weak life signs that are in the front of the ship. Go ahead, Captain.
I don't want to cut in, but if you're thinking of the ship with the ball at the front, that's an Olympus class. The Nova class is the tiny little triangle guy.
It's Oberth class is the ball
class.
one.
You know what? It is the Oberth class. Thank you for correcting me. Again, I don't really know Star Trek that well.
No, it was fine. It was, you kept saying dome, and I was like, I don't remember there being a dome on a Nova.
You know what? I
There's
swear to God, I looked it up. I swear to God, I looked it up, and that's when the one that it was. But I'm totally wrong. So it is the the Oberth class.
So
Yeah.
the Olympus class is the disc with the.
No, the Oberth class is the Olympus is the one.
The Olympus. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go back.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
so Olympus, you said?
Yeah, the Olympic. Sorry, not Olympus, but Olympic class is the one with the giant ball in the front, and then the.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
In lieu of a saucer. Yep.
Okay. LLYMP. Olympic class. I'm modifying our session intro so that
nice.
It's not actually wrong. But hey, you know what?
Sorry.
I make mistakes. It's all good. Let me see here. All right, let me go over here. Olympic class. So we watch as the Nova class suddenly transforms into an Olympic class. There's obviously some weird spatial anomaly going on.
Oh, goodness.
Here. Yeah. So I know we said there wouldn't be any weird time travel shit, but maybe there is this season. So there you go. Oh my. So yeah. So it's the Olympic class. There's just a bunch of debris, but you are picking up about a dozen life signs that seem to be located in the ship's bridge area or on that deck where the bridge would be. They're very weak, but there is a couple of life signs in that section.
Transport them straight to sickbay, and then let's bring our shields up.
Here's the thing, Lieutenant Paris. You can't tell what kind of life signs they are. You know that they are life signs, but you're not picking up if they're human, if they're Ferengi, if they're whatever. Like, you cannot pick up what kind of life signs they are.
Doesn't matter. Sending that information to Krev so that he can validate with transporters.
Perfect. You're gonna begin to.
Yeah, and if you share that with Zed as well, he'll deploy security teams to the transporter rooms.
To sickbay. They're being transported directly there.
Oh, directly to sickbay. Okay, to sickbay then. Yes.
Can we set up some containment fields inside of sickbay to make sure that
Yep.
whatever we send in there is friendly, or what I can do is do like a half transport when they show up. If they're friendly, I can continue the transport into sickbay, and if not, I can transport them directly into the brig.
Considering they're wounded, I would presumably, due to the weak life signs, I would prefer that we prioritize getting them into sickbay, and then we can decide whether or not they're hostile after we've made sure that they are.
Ajay and the new doctor have set up that secondary, like, quarantine-esque sickbay space. We can transport them into that one.
I will, though, if I can, reset the microscopic quantum reciprocating stabilizer in the pattern buffer to deactivate any technology on their persons.
Perfect. I love it. All right, so we got a couple things going on here. So Paris, you made your check. You got your momentum back, right? We know what's going on. Now we have to have Ensign Zed give me a control security to go ahead and try to transport it. That's going to be a difficulty of 2 in this situation.
All right.
Can I assist with my
Absolutely.
knowledge of transporters? In which case, the difficulty will drop by 1 because I'm really good at transporter stuff.
Brilliant.
Nice. So I don't have any focuses, I think. That
Oh,
will
sorry.
add to that.
I actually give 2 threat to reduce the difficulty of the task by 2. So I make it a difficulty 0, but I also give Wolf 2 threat to do
thank
it.
you.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
and,
of course, anytime.
And did you say control engineering? Okay. All right. I think
Wasn't I gonna do the transporting and Zed was going to call a crew to meet?
yes, I thought that's what I thought too.
Oh, that's totally
That's
fine.
what I understood.
Totally fine.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
If that
works for me.
works better for me too. I was worried.
All right, let me do a control engineering with control.
And the ship assist with sensors and engineering.
Hold on a second. Cancel. Let me start this over because I hit the button.
We just got a point spend by Vesper for some momentum. You guys get 1 additional momentum from chat. Thank you, Vesper.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Control engineering. I will spend 3 momentum to get 2 extra dice. And then I'm going to use my focus of transporters.
Love it.
Oh boy.
Oof. So you succeed, but there's a complication. Do you have any ability to reroll anything? Okay. Because
am I being assisted by the computers or sensors?
Yes.
Yes.
Technical expertise works as you're using a computer.
Then I may reroll 1d20.
Do it up.
And yeah, does the ship roll engineering?
Is this
sensor?
the transporters?
Ooh. Oh, that's still a complication.
Is this the role for the transporters?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was control engineering? Because I'm assisting. So
Correct. You still got 2 momentum back because he made it a difficulty 0. All right. It's 3 momentum back.
Does the ship?
Absolutely.
If I'm assisting, well, I was gonna say if I'm assisting, the ship doesn't need to. But
okay.
What's that? Sensors engineering, computers engineering.
Computers engineering. All right. Here's what happens.
Hey, another one.
You watch. You get all the momentum back. You watch on your screen, Lieutenant Commander Krev, as the life signs disappear. Go into the pattern buffer. You can see as they reemerge in the containment, sort of like triage area that was set up. A moment later, I'm going to take that complication. I'm going to spend 3 threat. A moment later, Ensign Zed, your console starts freaking out. You get several communiques from the converted storage area. There was a supply like a storage area, right, that you had that had been converted, one of the cargo bays. They say one of your security guys goes, "Oh shit, Klingons. They were Klingons. They're on board. The ship has been boarded. We're under clap." And we're actually going to drop into a little bit of combat here for the first time in Star Trek Adventure, Star Trek Valhalla, as we cut to an exterior shot of the Ragnar. And we see that the Ragnar is currently surrounded by 3, you counted it, 3 Klingon birds of prey. There are 3 of them that have just dropped out of Cloak. The Ragnar is surrounded, and you can hear over your comm badge the sounds of phaser fire, the clashing and clinging of probably Klingon bat'leths, and it's not sounding good down there. That the ship has been boarded. There's about a dozen Klingon warriors on board, and you're now surrounded by 3 Klingon birds of prey.
Did I successfully deactivate their technology?
At least their weapons. Yeah, their phasers and stuff, which is good. But unfortunately, they have swords.
dogs
Like, they have
But they're all in the triage area of sick bay, so we can.
We had a force field set up
so we
around.
can block them off.
You can. Just bear with me. Let me get a little bit of drama in here. All right. They're all like, no, stop it. You're hurting us. Just gonna make a little drama in here. All right. Let the game master set up some drama. Okay. I spent some threat. You're gonna give this to me. All right. So
are we?
Things are getting a little crazy down there. All right. However, you do have your ability to turn on the force fields, which is good. But simultaneously, an incoming message from what appears to be the lead Klingon bird of prey comes in. Lieutenant Shear says, sir, actually, I would see this would be Minnie. Ensign Minnie Crusher. She says, sir, they're hailing us.
Open his channel.
A very gruff, one-eyed Klingon warrior with similar background to me, wearing some badass leather armor. Like, he looks really cool, kind of like this badass leather jacket I have on, like I'm in character, right? Is where we're at. Federation vessel, you are surrounded, outmanned and outgunned. We have boarded your vessel. You will surrender to us or be destroyed.
Klingon vessel, this is Captain Asbatreso of the Federation vessel USS Ragnar. I'll surrender to your vessel when pigs fly. And communication. Engage cloak.
And as you go to engage cloak, this is where things get a little bit dicey. Go to engage cloak. I am going to spend 3 threat. For some reason, the power that goes to the cloak has been deactivated and it's not working. So your ship will not drop into cloak. You're not sure why. But,
Cloak is not engaging, sir.
Yep.
Cool. I'm going to spend 2 of our momentum to create an advantage. That advantage is, remember that time that I talked about how I was making some changes to the transporters?
Yes.
I beam a photon torpedo onto the bridge of one of those 3 Klingon vessels.
All right. Everybody just needs to take a breath. It's gonna get crazy. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop into our first combat. Okay, which we haven't done this in a while. It's getting a little crazy. I'm gonna drag your tokens onto the map. Okay, we're dragging your tokens onto the map so that I can add you guys to the tracker. All right, so I can add you guys to the tracker. We're also going to have the Klingon birds of well, probably 2 of them because you're about to blow one up, I assume. You crazy son of a bitch. All right, let me get these guys on here. All right, hold on. Let me get this guy here, this guy here. All right, we got this, we got that. Things are getting a little dicey here, getting a little dicey. All right, and I'm going to get a little bit of let's get some exciting what do we got here? I got Outlandish Orchestra. Way too calm. I don't like that at all. I need some good tense atmosphere. Here we go.
The Star Trek 2
there we go.
soundtrack is pretty good.
I got some well, I can. It's probably copywritten. I got intense atmosphere going. All right, perfect. We got some tense atmosphere going on here, which is fantastic. All right. So the way that this works, everybody, is we start off combat. Anytime there's combat, is a kind of round robin sort of thing. So you go, the crew, the players always start first, okay, and then we go back and forth between the players and then to the enemies. All right, and they go back and forth until everyone is gone once, and then the round resets. So there's turns, then we have the round. Okay, so we're gonna start off with you guys. You guys get to determine who goes first. Now your shields are up. Weapons are activated. All right, everything is good to go, but we determine who wants to go first of your crew.
It's
who is better able to repair the cloak, me or Paris?
That's a good question.
And that's probably who we want to go first.
Yeah.
Get started working on that.
Probably Paris.
Although I could modulate the shields first to give us a little bit more toughness if you wanted, but that's just a suggestion. Totally up to y'all. I can see either one. Yeah. What do you think, Captain?
All right, I muted myself. I think Rev, you go ahead and fix the cloak. The shields are already up. We don't need to modulate them until we need to restore some power to them. If I remember
I kept
how.
it.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna use my talent of quick survey. You have a way of getting a good impression of a situation with only a moment's observation. At the start of a scene, you may immediately ask one question as if you had spent one momentum on the obtain information momentum spend. The answer can only provide information that you could obtain with your own senses. You cannot gain information from equipment in so short a time.
I love it.
Can I figure out anything about what might have happened with the cloak?
Ask me a direct question. That wasn't really a direct question.
What is broken with the cloak?
Based on your readings, there's no power going to it. It looks like someone either unplugged it or purposefully sabotaged it.
That's a job for Bronson.
Cap, do you need me on the bridge?
Yes.
Krev to Bronson. The cloaking device has either been sabotaged or accidentally disconnected. I need you to take a security. I want you to meet a security team at the cloaking device and see what you can do to fix it.
On my way, sir.
Zed, please send a security team to guard Petty Officer Bronson.
Of course, Commander.
Thank you.
All right. So, Ensign Zed, that was a command. You can still do an action with regards to combat. So you've got some options as the chief engineer. All right. So you can actually go to let's see here. You could be there's combat reference you can go into and see kind of what sort of things you can do. You can, let's see. Let me go over here. It's a great learning moment, right? Great learning moment. This is going to be conflict momentum spends. All right, so you could create an opportunity where the next person gains an extra d20. Those are momentum spends. Let's see here. What would be a good thing for you to do? Let's see here.
Is that for Krev to do?
So another thing I can do is actually like get into the guts of quote unquote get into the guts of the ship and do a task to attempt. I have the talent of I know my ship. Whenever you attempt a task to determine the source of a technical problem, I can add a bonus d20. So could I, from here, try to attempt to figure out more information that I could then give to Bronson?
Yes. I'm going to have you do a insight engineering, a difficulty of 3.
3? Okay, so I get a bonus d20, and I guess it'll cost me 2 more to get a third d20. So I'm going to spend those 2 because we need this. All right, so
I can never pull a fast one on you guys. Captain always has something up his sleeve. Always. He's like, I transport a photon torpedo onto their bridge. Jesus.
Insight engineering.
Don't worry, it's gonna happen. Just
submit. 2, 3. So that's 4. Submit. And I'm gonna do my focus of improvisation.
Perfect.
Get wrecked, Charlie.
Wow, that is done. You get a momentum right back, which is amazing. So you start to look into it, and you're starting to basically, you're quickly starting to analyze, like, there's power, it has its own power system, right? And like, how did it get cut off? And what you find is that, so imagine that there is there's a cable that goes from like the power system to it. There is something that is drawing all of the power away from the separate engine or the separate power generator for the cloak into itself. there's like a device or something that's like midway between the cloak and this separate power source. You have no idea what the device is, but that is what is drawing the power. So it's almost like someone took it's like there's like electricity going through, and then someone like places a device on it that's drawing that electricity away. Does that make sense?
Yep. I will direct Bronson and the security crew there to where that device seems to be.
Perfect. And she's going to head off. Go ahead.
I will order Bronson not to get anywhere near it until she has backup with the security crew, and I want to make sure that she is also armed.
Absolutely. She is. She will grab a phaser and will be ready. So, Lieutenant Commander Krev has gone. Now it goes to the Klingons. All right. Now it goes to the Klingons. I'm gonna get a chance to do something. All right. One of the Klingon birds of prey, we're going to call this Klingon bird of prey 1, is actually going to move in and begins to do an attack towards you. You see that it's charging its weapons, and it begins to fire a couple of torpedoes at you guys. And I have this really sweet macro that I'm going to roll. As it fires its weapons, and it does get a success, which is good. Unfortunately, though, its crew rolled a 19 and a 5. So as it fires several torpedoes at you, you watch them, they come flying at you, and you see Lieutenant Shear says, "Take evasive maneuvers." And we watch as the Ragnar pivots to the side, and then kind of does this like swoop, and those torpedoes go right through the two nacelles at the back, but completely miss the ship. And that is going to be that ship's turn. All right, so that Klingon bird of prey 1 is gone, and they have unfortunately missed with their first shot. Now it goes back to the crew. Your guys' turn. Who wants to go?
Should we return fire, Captain?
Mr. Zed, open fire on the open fire on the ship that hailed us.
Before he can fire, can I scan for weakness?
Sure. Well, it's up to the captain.
Yeah.
Well, this is more a question for the game master.
Yeah. So
the answer is you could use your turn to scan for weakness.
Yes.
But that would be your turn. That would be our turn, and then the Klingons would get to go.
And then another Klingon would attack. Yes, but we could.
So then, does the captain approve?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Whatever. Do it up.
All right. Control and science with the ship assisting with sensor and security. Base difficulty of 1 and +1 for every distance that you.
They're all within the closest range. They're like right on top of you.
Can I assist him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Control science.
Ship always is a focus. There we go. The ship gives you 1.
And I will use 1 momentum to add a dice.
Perfect.
Go.
That was control security?
Yes.
Yes, and the ship sensor security and control security for the actual roll.
Composure as a. Actually, no. I'm assisting team dynamics as a focus. Oh no! I rolled up. Just a second. Nope, that's not helpful. I commanded 2 times. Yeah, no. All right. Sorry about that.
It was a complication. Excellent.
Got you a complication. You're welcome.
Take that into consideration.
It gives a piercing 2, and since I bought a dice, there's 1 more challenge die damage.
Nice. Very good. So piercing 2, 1 more challenge dice of damage, which is very good. All right. Perfect. Good stuff. So that's the other turn. So that command ship.
Okay, so I have decisive leadership in a conflict whenever the character performs an assist task, and would then pay 2 momentum to keep the initiative. The cost to keep the initiative is reduced to 0. So we're gonna keep the initiative. And
All right.
We're gonna fire.
I love it. You're gonna keep the initiative. Perfect. You can do that once. You can do that once per turn.
Yeah, right? Every round. Yep.
Okay, every round.
We did get 3 momentum back, by the way.
Yes, you did.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, here we go. Happening.
So now Zed will fire, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And in order to get it's 1 momentum
for 1 extra dice, 3 momentum for 2, 6 momentum for 3 extra dice.
How many do you think I should use? Just 1?
I mean,
Save
no.
the others
Go ahead
for the
and
others?
spend 3 momentum.
Okay.
Control security task assisted by the weapons security task.
3 momentum. Okay. And I have a focus of shipboard tactical systems.
Absolutely.
And
All
I will
right.
assist with sensors because that's what I do.
All right.
I couldn't. The ship didn't give you a.
Control, science,
Control, security.
There
So
you go,
that's
extra one.
so. Let's see. So I am rolling 5 dice, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
20 plus focus.
No, you're rolling 4 dice. You bought 2 extra dice.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's okay.
Oh,
We'll drop the
oh,
last
oh,
one.
sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. 2, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
that
6.
is definitely a hit. Okay.
That's 6.
That is fantastic. All right, that's 6. You get all your momentum back, as far as I can tell. And then you're firing with the ship's phasers, which, if I remember correctly, let me grab the Ragnar here really quick. That is were you firing phasers or phasers? Okay, you're gonna roll 6 challenge die that have piercing 2 and
+1 challenge die. Don't forget.
So 7 challenge dice, and it's piercing 2 and what was the other thing?
Versatile 2.
Versatile 2. All right, that's good. Perfect.
All right. So 7 challenge dice. Oh, and where's the piercing part, or that's somewhere else. Let's see.
All right, so you rolled 5. So it's 5 plus effect. So 5, 6, 7. So it's piercing 2. So it's 4 piercing. So it overcomes its resistance. That's 5 damage to that vessel, and it hits the ship's computers. So their computers are now damaged, which is fantastic. 4 damage to their computers. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that for them. 4 damage to their computers. And that ship has taken a solid blow from the phasers. All right, solid blow. You see some fire sparking. It sort of banks to the left, to the port side, and it starts to bank away from you. All right, perfect. Anything else? I think that's your guys' turn, right? We're good?
Then as a minor action, we detonate the photon torpedo aboard the 3rd ship's bridge.
Totally fine with that. All right, totally fine with that. So just for thematic effects, you've transported on. That ship is moving in. It's coming right towards your port side to cell. You can see it starting to charge its weapons. Looks like it's about to do a full spread, and then that ship just erupts into just an explosion. Classic Star Trek, just you see all the little dust and sparkles from classic Star Trek, and the one Klingon ship is completely and utterly eviscerated, which is
coming
fantastic.
right for us.
All right, so
and then talking's a free action, right? So
Absolutely.
I can calm down to Med Bay and talk to Dr. Chidastis.
Yep,
Is
you
that how
call
say
down
his
to
name?
Med Bay and get nothing. Nobody responds to you.
Tactical open a hailing frequency.
Every frequency open.
Attention Klingon ships. This is the USS Ragnar. Stand down. I repeat, stand down, or we will be forced to destroy you.
No response. All right. All right, so I'm going to spend a couple momentum, a couple threat here to give them some bonus dice, which is super awesome. And that one that came in on the first one is going to fly in again, and is going to attempt to give give you the boops is what it's going for, and that is going to be wow. That is 2 20s on the Klingon fucking ship. That is 2 20s. All right, 2 fucking 20s. Jesus Christ. So you watch as this ship starts to like fly in, all right? Starts to fly in. You see it looks like it's going to fire, and then instead it drops into cloak and just seems to disappear. And it seems like it's probably running. Like they're probably like, fuck this. These guys are a lot stronger than I thought they would be. So it just drops out.
That's not very Klingon of them.
That's not very Klingon, isn't it? Something to think about, right? So they're just like, you know what? Fuck it. We're out. Maybe there was a mutiny. All right. And they just said, nope, we're done. Like, this is stupid. But the lead Klingon ship, it looks like it's squaring up with you. It's squaring up with you. It's ready to go. And it wants to have a party with you. I cannot believe I rolled 2 20s. That is redonkulous.
Can't either.
That is absolutely... So it's back to you guys now.
All right, I'm going to take the lead. I will use my command action. So I'm going to direct Mr. Zed to fire upon that ship a second time, which means he'll get to use our weapons console a second time. It'll just be 1 difficulty harder.
Perfect.
All right, and
I'm going to spend 3 threat to increase your complication range to 17 to 20.
Ooh.
Spend all 6 of our momentum.
Oh,
Probably should.
I
told you this fight was probably going to be really fast.
Yes.
Like, you guys definitely have the advantage here.
Can we? But I'm going to tell you to target their engines. So we're going to try and disable them.
Okay.
And take out their power, hopefully letting them not shoot us anymore.
All right. So will that?
You're going to roll 5 dice.
All 5 dice.
Yes. All right. Let's see here.
The ship assists with weapons. What? Weapons security?
Correct.
And Paris, of course, helps.
Oh God! Come on, me!
Yikes!
Come on, Ragnar!
Oh God!
Yikes!
Oh God!
All right. Good news. You succeed. Bad news. So, imagine, if you will, you guys do like I'm imagining like full torpedo, like just a full spread. So torpedoes actually full photon spread. You actually have to spend give me threat to do that. So this is just a full phaser. Like just burst, like both like the upper the upper saucer, lower saucer. You're doing like just a full spread. You watch as it just lances across. Go ahead and roll the damage.
Oh yes. And is the damage the same as last time, or?
Yes.
I can't remember. Does scanning for weakness apply the whole round?
I believe it does.
Nah.
Let the compensations happen. Let it happen. It'll be interesting.
It's technically the next attack, but.
7. Perfect.
All right.
And plus 5, plus 5. Okay, perfect. So he watches it lances in. You did target the engines, so it does hit the engines. Pretty much all that damage goes through, and their engines go boom. And you see that they're just starting to like lurch to the side. However, as that happens, you get a communique, Lieutenant Commander Krev, from one Petty Officer Bronson. Bronson to Lieutenant Commander Krev.
Krev here.
I think I've discovered the device. I didn't get too close to it, but it's some sort of... Sir, I'm not exactly sure what it is. I've never seen anything like it. It's got a bunch of wires, and it seems to be drawing power from... Sir, it's also beeping.
Krev looks up at the captain. Emergency transport.
Sounds like our best option.
All right.
Sir, the
Krev...
beeping's getting beep, 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 beep.
Lower the shields.
Oh
initiate
God,
emergency
sir!
transport.
And as soon as that happens, I spend all of my remaining threat. Lieutenant Commander Krev, you hear a, oh gods, no! The ship lurches. The entire vessel shakes. And that, my friends,
wait,
we're going to end today's session.
I give you 2 threat to
Nope.
emergency transport.
Nope. That is where we
Bronson
end
out.
today's session. Session over. That is where we end. That is where we end. Right there. With a massive explosion on the deck with the transporter, with the cloaking device on it. The ensign, petty officer, Bronson's fate is unknown, and that, my friends, is where we'll end that. But great job, everybody! Absolutely fantastic job! That was really fun. I think ship combat can be interesting. You guys also fucking just decimated. I thought I was gonna get you at least once, like when I spent all that threat, and then it's fucking 20s, 220s in a row, 220s in a row. It was wild, but Lieutenant Commander Krev, your face is chef's kiss. Love it. Absolutely love it.
I will never forgive you.
You know,
for
the
this,
last
Charlie.
time I saw that face was when a certain dwarf midwife died. So it's a whole thing. But anyway, with that being said, as I always say at the end of every session, any final thoughts, questions, comments, or concerns from today's
Next time,
You're a monster.
You're a monster?
Yeah.
This is what I get for letting you into here, Charlie. This is what I get for feeling.
Actually, I want you to know that I don't know how, but I knew there was an enemy agent on the ship, and I was still surprised when a thing didn't work. I was like, wait, who would do that? And then I was like, of course, I know who would do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that's it. The wedding is off.
No.
Oh boy. So yeah, you did a good job of sort of lulling me into a false sense of security because I was like, "Oh, we're gonna be fine," and then suddenly you're like, "The thing didn't work," and I was like,
Yeah.
"But why? Who on our ship would?" Oh God.
That's wild. That's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. So we're gonna pick up next session exactly where we left off. But again, any other questions, comments, or concerns before we wrap up today's session?
I mean, I'm concerned about Bronson's fate.
Well, I had a great time. I had a great time. You
I
guys
will
have to
never
wait for a
forgive you
week,
for
though,
this.
to find out what happened to Bronson.
Yeah,
I'm sure she's fine.
I like Bronson a lot.
Yeah, me too. I think she's a great character.
I will shed a tear or two. If
Yeah, well,
Bronson
we'll see
is
what
fine.
happens.
No, I'm gonna save her. Is what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Oh man, we'll never forgive you for this, Charlie. That's funny. All right, but as always, at the end of every session, thank you so much to the players for playing. I actually had an absolute delightful time. I really like what you guys did with those little private scenes between you and some of your staff. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, some of our staff.
Yeah,
Thank you
my
guys
staff.
so much for just leaning into it, doing a great job. I thought everyone had a moment to shine, and I just want to say, really good job, everybody. I hope
I'm
the
just
combat.
happy.
Go ahead, Sybil.
I'm just happy Zed got his scene because it felt like you were.
Oh, thank you.
Oh no, absolutely not. I wasn't gonna skip
But
over.
patience is a Ferengi virtue, so I was.
It absolutely is not.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Patience is a Ferengi failing for sure.
But as I always say at the end of every session as well, again, thank you so much to the players for playing. Without you guys, this is absolutely impossible. Thank you so much to the viewers for viewing. Strata, it was awesome to see you in the chat today. I know you're really busy at night. You got work most of the time, so thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Would love to get you back in the game at some point. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been an absolute delight. I'm loving the series, and I'm excited to see where we take the second half of season 3. I'm so excited to see where we take it. And yeah, we're now into the Klingon Federation War. We're going to see where this goes. The first bout seemed to really go in the Federation's favor. I mean, Klingon Schmingon, dare I say. Klingon Schmingon. Also some terrible dice luck for the Game Master tonight. Absolutely, I can't.
Yo,
can't
that
be
was
stopped.
some.
But those fucking 3 complications on that last one. Like, I mean, I was like, all right, if they roll complications, something bad's gonna happen. And well, I mean, here's where we're at. So that's what it is. But with that being said, be well, be safe, happy gaming. We'll see you next Tuesday for season 3, episode 6. Same game time, same game place. Be well and be safe out there. Cheers.